Mannequinization. It takes the figure and reduces it into its most fundamental aspects through shape. It's a good middle ground between gesture drawing and figure drawing. I made a video about gesture drawing, and in it there's a demo that shows you the best way to tackle quick gestures. This video will be adding to that and taking those basic concepts and building up on them. So if you haven't seen it, check it out first. In this video we'll be doing 4 drawings in total, going from simple to a little more dynamic as we go on. But before that, let's do a quick demo. So what we're gonna do is simplify the human body with spheres, cubes, and pyramids. Refer to the diagram when you need some help. We can start breaking down the pose and finding landmarks. Collarbone to collarbone will give you a great horizontal to start the cube for the chest. You can find the center of the chest by looking at the sternum. This will give you the center line. And the bottom of the ribs is where you want to stop this cube. Having this front plane will make it easier to find the box for the chest. Next we'll do the hips and find the iliac crest. It's that pelvic bone that juts out. Find this on the other side and we got the front plane of the pelvis now. The box for the hips will end at the crotch. Be mindful, this is an S torso, so the center line will be shifted because the chest and hips are in different directions. Let's drop in the head and neck now. When drawing the sphere for the head, use the side plane where the temple is to define this perspective and the angle of the head. The neck you can just drop in by the center line. From here we look at the angle of the knee because this will be the same for the ankles. This is going to help keep our figure in perspective and help add these cylinders properly. For the feet we can just simplify and make these pyramids. The arms are also cylinders, but we have to keep in mind the direction of the ellipses and what is in front of what. Constantly adding wrapping lines to make sure that I'm drawing these shapes with volume and 3-dimensionality. And with that we have a mannequinized figure. You'll see when I'm drawing my figures that they'll be a little more gestural and loose. That's because in the long term, we don't want to be drawing with stiff, rigid shapes. We want to kind of make forceful and tapered shapes. Draw along and see if you can pick up on small things that I do to keep the energy in the mannequin. Alright, let's begin. With each pose, I'm going to start off with a gesture drawing. We're going to need a solid foundation to work off of, along with the fact that it's just good practice. I sped up the drawings because each one was roughly 10 minutes from start to finish. I don't know if all of you would have wanted to sit through me drawing for 40 minutes. I mean, let me know if you do, but even then I don't think I could talk that long and keep it interesting. I picked this pose because it's simple and straightforward, nothing too complicated about it. It'll be a good starting point. I also picked this model that had baggier clothes just to challenge all of you following along. Understanding that you're looking through the clothes to find these landmarks is going to help you become a better visualizer. You'll see in my gesture drawings that my legs were a little too short. Catching your mistakes on the fly is something you'll eventually get good at. It's a pretty easy fix, I just got to extend the legs a bit. I marked a line going from foot to establish the perspective. I did this with the knees as well. This won't always be the case, but in this pose, this is perfect. Nothing too hard or crazy about this one. Again, starting off with a gesture drawing before we start with the mannequins. Similar to the first pose, this one is pretty straightforward. Find the collarbone, get the center line, find the iliac crest, get those hips, and then start completing the boxes. You'll see me add in the shoulder with a bit more realism, and that's because the cylinder of the upper arm fits perfectly into the armpit that the shoulder encompasses. The cylinders for the legs have direction and applied force. They aren't rigid, they follow the form of the legs. Keeping the feet very simple with a top plane and a side plane. Feet and hands are quite difficult to draw if you aren't familiar with the basic shapes that make them up. With that, we're on to the next one, which will be much more difficult, but because we got the initial gesture, we'll be able to add in the basic shapes without worrying. So for this pose, you'll see the top of the boxes a lot more, and that's because the camera is looking from above and your horizon line is way over the character. Even the cylinders will get skewed down because of the perspective. With foreshortening, it's good to remember that things that are closest to you are going to be much larger, and the things far away will be very tiny. I kinda lied when I said this is going to be tough, don't you think? Once you understand mannequinization, doing complex angles like this is pretty easy to understand and wrap your head around. Finally, the last one. This pose has such a nice gesture, going from the leg to the chest, then to the neck and the head. One seamless line to indicate all of that. A great way to find different planes of the shapes is through lighting. We can see the side of the chest is lit up and the front chest is in shadow. This shows us the turning edge of the box. From this angle, I made the screen right leg a lot more boxier than cylindrical. And that's because I liked the perspective of the knee and thought it was a better way to describe the form in this angle. The knee follows the same direction as the ankle, like I mentioned in the demo, and that helps to find that plane of the shin. From here, it's all pretty routine. And there we have it, mannequin poses. Personally, I enjoy the quickness of a sketch, but if it's your first time, I would highly suggest taking your time and really observing the different planes and angles of the body and how they're oriented. That's why this draw along didn't have a countdown or anything. I kind of just want you to take it at your own pace. If you want an even deeper look into mannequinization, you could check out Proco's channel. He's got a great video about it and he goes into it very deeply. To any new subs, it's great to have you on this art journey. Any questions, please feel free to drop them in the comment section below. And if you haven't checked out my manga Battle of the Fittest, chapters 1 and 2 are out now, links in the bio and description. If you've enjoyed this video, you already know what to do. That's enough of me yapping. See you on the next one.